If you want to see what the word quit means,
Oh, come on, Chuck.
to give up, the verb of that is cavaliers.
Oh, come on.
Players ain't going to say they're going to quit, but you know what shows? Their actions.
Cameron, did you have a problem with the Cavs' effort last night?
Absolutely. I had a problem with the Cavs' effort after Game 3, to be totally honest with you. I don't think that they ever recovered after Game 1, giving up that 18-point lead in the fourth quarter. Game 2, they gave a so-so effort. But after Game 3, the middle of Game 3 with the Knicks just pounding on them, you see, it was actually playing Game 3, and it was towards the end of the game, maybe about 2 minutes left, where they just let Jalen Brunson go for a layup, and nobody was even around. And they just let him go for a layup. And I said right there that this series is not even going to be. I mean, the series is pretty much over from there. But Game 4 was just a foregone conclusion. Yes, I had an absolute problem with the effort, and I heard Big Perk calling them out about their effort on other shows. Listen, it's terrible. It's terrible. Not just them. I think that Philadelphia gave up as well. So yes, I have a real big problem with their effort. Certain things shouldn't have been said. When you got somebody like Jared Allen a couple years saying, I thought the moment was too big for me when I played against the Knicks, and this was 2-3 years ago. Now you're keeping an eye on him. Now you're under a spotlight. And now it's looking like the moment was too big for you again. Allen Iverson, that's who what's the name, my man Donovan Mitchell should have been looking. The 2001 Allen Iverson, because you had no help. It seemed like we watched James Harden turn 80 years old in this series. I mean, you know, it looked like he was a mannequin, a cone, a practice person who was just people were going by. So first of all, I want to give a big apology to Jalen Brunson, because I was saying Harden's a bigger guard. He may cause some problems. I don't know what's going to happen. Listen, I don't know how old Harden is. He turned 82 years old in that series, and we can't expect Harden to be a LeBron James, to be a Steph Curry, to be a Kevin Durant. We got spoiled with these athletes being really, really good as they get older. That's not going to happen for everybody. But he looked really bad. So yes, Shay, I was very, very disappointed in Cleveland's effort.
Big Perk, I'll take it from here. There's certain things that need to be put in its proper perspective, all right? You're right. Harden suddenly looked old or whatever. And let me see Big Perk and Cameron when I'm saying this. You know, I've been covering the NBA for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
It is rare that I saw somebody get their ass kicked the way I saw Jalen Brunson bust James Harden's living ass. I mean, it was really, really bad. It was one of those moments where you sat up there and you're not even looking when I'm saying this. You know, I've been covering the NBA for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
It is rare that I saw somebody get their ass kicked the way I saw Jalen Brunson bust James Harden's living ass. I mean, it was really, really bad. It was one of those moments where you sat up there and you're not even looking at James Harden like you can't play. We know he's a future Hall of Famer. We were looking at him like this ain't him quitting like, you know, he's a no-show for Philly against Boston or a no-show for Houston against San Antonio or Golden State. No. This was him on the court trying and getting humbled and embarrassed. It was like 6, 7 different times. He was one-on-one with Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson, you know, just calling switches, organizing it to make sure Harden was in front of him, and just flat out abused him. It was the kind of thing where you go home and you look in the mirror and you question whether or not you should be playing this game anymore. That was kind of ass kicking that he took. So we get that out the way. But when we look at the problems last night with the Cavs' effort, collectively they quit. And it was a disgrace. And here's the reason why. Repeatedly not getting back on defense and getting beat down the floor by Brunson, by Karl Anthony Towns, by Mikal Bridges, by Josh Hart, by OG Anunoby. They gave up 13 fast break points in the first quarter. They gave up 26 fast break points in the first half. How does that happen in a closeout game on your home court? And the coach, Atkinson, I mean, you talk about a collective collapse. Kenny Atkinson was universally respected as a coach in this league. I'm not saying he's not respected now, but the cachet that he had had a precipitous drop-off in this post. I mean, the way the Cavs looked in this series, every complimentary thing you had to say about Kenny Atkinson went out the window. Not just because of the way the team looked, but because when you, to have, you could talk about it being taken out of context. You cannot be a playoff coach and say, well, these 2 games are the 3. We really won 2 of them. Analytically. You know, it's just like they put up in the post of the TNT show. You know, it's not the TNT. Inside the NBA show. They said, what did they say? They said, analytically, it's game 5. Or whatever.
Right.
They're just trolling them. It's bad. It really, really looks bad. And I'm just saying to you, at the end of the day, Donovan Mitchell was the only dude that showed up yesterday.
No.
And even then, he could listen. He didn't listen. First 3 games, he didn't do what he was supposed to do. In the end, it's a bad situation. Remember what I said about LeBron potentially going there? Why do that? Why do that? Not with that team. Why bother?
No. This was one of the most, if not the most embarrassing moments in NBA history. It's not what happened, it's how it happened. Like we didn't witness sweeps before, but we didn't witness this to this magnitude. They tapped out and they quit. And you know the worst part about this whole situation? Yes, we could go over all the numbers, the transition buckets. They gave up 20 offensive rebounds last night in the closeout game at home. Jalen Brunson actually looked like the most athletic person on the floor every single game, the way he was pushing the pace. But the post-game comments throughout this series, starting with Kenny Atkinson and what he said the other day about the analytics, that was one of the most asinine things I've heard this postseason. And Donovan Mitchell, he had something to say before last night's game. He talked about, well, I feel like we never got over game 1, basically along those contexts. What? All that's showing is your lack of mental toughness in that locker room. And then when you hear James Harden come out and you hear his comments last night, like all across the board, the Cavs had no heart, no mental toughness. They got pumped and they got embarrassed. And it was an embarrassment for the league to witness that. The lack of competition to compete in between the lines or at this stage. We're talking about the conference finals. And James Harden was in his post-game interview last night. He was talking about how they just got through battling 2 hard 7-game series. Man, what are you talking about? I was on the team in 2008 where we had to go through 2 7-game series before reaching the conference finals. Where your heart at? Where your mental toughness at? That's what you're talking about? Y'all fatigued? Y'all tired? No, the Knicks just kicked y'all ass and snatched y'all soul. And all of a sudden, you got to look at Dan Gilbert. And if I'm Dan Gilbert, I'm looking at every single person on that roster, every single person on that coaching staff, and I'm saying everybody's on the chopping block. Every single one of them. We're not going to give Donovan Mitchell a pass. Those points was cute, but they wasn't powerful.
No. They weren't powerful. But what I'm saying is, and I'm not trying to give him a pass because obviously he's the leader. What I'm talking about is that at the beginning, he came out trying to fight. We didn't see that from anybody else. I'm talking about at the beginning of the first quarter. That's all I'm talking about.
He fought offensively.
Yeah. All I'm saying. Well, that's what we expect from him. Donovan Mitchell has never been accused of being an elite defender. So
neither has Jalen Brunson.
I understand that.
And Jalen Brunson was taking charges.
Yeah, but Jalen Brunson also got teammates that didn't give up. And at the end of the day, all I'm trying to say is this. If you're Dan Gilbert, I look at Kenny Atkinson. I'm sorry. I don't see that as a leader of men as a head coach. I just don't.
I agree.
I just don't. I'm sorry. The words that came out of his mouth, the things that he was saying, the way this team refused to respond. I just didn't look at him. I expected to see more from him. And there's too many damn good coaches in the NBA, past and present, okay, that would be better than that. That would be more demonstratively, competitive than that. And whether it's post-game, whether it's off-day quotes, whether it's watching him look helpless as his team can't respond, it just wasn't a good look. And then you got Harden with the player option, and you're just looking at him and you're saying, really? So once again, he's going to get paid to do what? Regular season, and then the postseason comes, and once again, here he is, averaging significantly less points, shooting 18% from three-point range, not being able to get stuff done. You just find yourself looking at Cleveland. It was really embarrassing. It was very bad, and Charles Barkley was absolutely right to call out Cleveland the way that he did, because on your home turf, you quit. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. The fans should be giving their money back, to be honest with you.
Here's something that the Cavs are going to have to look at. They have the highest payroll in the NBA this season. They finish as the only team in the second apron. So decisions are going to have to be made because their payroll is through the roof. Coming up here on First Take, after a disappointing Game 4 performance, do Oklahoma City's chances to bounce back tonight depend more on someone not named SGA? You don't want to miss that. And then they are partying like it's 1999 in New York City after the Knicks secured their first finals of this century. Is this roster of the future? Or would a loss create massive changes? Big Perk and Stephen A. do not see eye to eye on that, and we will debate it next.